Jim Hazelgrove, the owner of Hazelgrove Race Club. Been here for the last 20 years and still keep quite busy. The idea for nudge and spin came from a few years back when the track is so fast down the hill that we decided that the full contact bangers was fairly dangerous. So the idea was that we had lighter contact and you could only actually spin each other out and you weren't allowed to follow in, no head-ons, and it really was, you know, no hitting past stationary cars, just to keep the whole game safe. And the actual nudge and spin cars are built the same as the national band. Safety measures where nudge and spin are concerned are still the same: door bars, H-frames, just to put as much in. We've now let them to use header tabs to keep the cars going a little bit longer, and they can use 2 bonnet bolts and corner plates. No welding. The driver's door can be welded, but apart from that, no welding, no seam welding, but virtually the same as a normal banger. The nudge and spin classes are generally quite good depending on the CC. We vary the different CCs. Sometimes we have small bang, small nudge and spin. Our normal group is up to 1800, but yeah, we do get fairly good numbers. But there's lots of other banger racing through the summer going on at other tracks, so I think all tracks are suffering a little bit at the moment because it's quite hard work to keep building cars and getting them at the moment. Nudge and spin should work out slightly cheaper than national bangers because you should get more than one race out of your car. Obviously, if you want to go into a DD afterwards, that generally finishes them off. But you should get more than one race out of a nudge and spin car because, it's nudge and spin. But our nudge and spin is probably as equal as any banger racing throughout the country. And at that moment, what I've seen from national bangers, hot rod racing, and nudge and spin certainly does put them into a shade. Of course, around the inside of the stock car track, we have a go-kart circuit where we cater for mini motos, go-karts, pit bikes, and various ages. You know, we run a school on a Saturday morning for children from the age of 6 years old, where we start them absolutely basic. You know, we're pushing them till they get the hang of the pedals, and then hopefully within I don't want to say a few minutes, but within half an hour, we can generally get the youngest driver to actually be competent in driving a car. So that's every Saturday we do a school first thing in the morning, 9 o'clock, and then 4 o'clock in the afternoon for an hour. People have to book in to do it, but it's been going on for about 3 years now, and some of the children from that have gone on to be some very competitive drivers. We haven't got our own mini motos or pit bikes, but we do have go-karts for all ages, and we do regularly hire them out and do a bit of corporate events, but not too many at a time. Probably 8's a good number for a corporate event. And arrive and drive, any adult can arrive, ring up and arrive with friends and just take them out any time during the day, 7 days a week, except if we're racing the bangers around the outside, or the hot rods and bangers around the outside. The youngest group for go-karts is 6 to 8 year old in the class called the Bambino class. That's the MSA rules. Yes, and we have got some 6 years old and up to 8, probably a group of about, I think that class is about probably up to 8 now, and they race the first Sunday of every month. So it's a mini moto pit bike go-kart meeting the first Sunday of every month, trophies on the day and trophies at the end of the year. We've been quite lucky here with our drivers. The track, the go-kart circuit, is quite technical, so we've had some teams from London to send down drivers, young drivers, to learn to corner quickly and properly, and they use our track to train on. And I've seen now some of the drivers. One is driving in the GP600 class. Our 12-year-old champion last year is now driving a Aprilia 125 and was on television 2 weeks ago at Brands Hatch, where he finished on the podium in all 3 races. And yeah, we've had some really good drivers come out of here, bikes, go-karts, and carry on. I'm proud to say that I taught the youngest ever 1600 or 2 litre hot rod driver. Sean Proudlock came from here, and he was the youngest ever Speedworth World Champion at 16 years old. So yeah, I'm proud to say we've had some quite good stars out here. The old stars are Dave Longhurst, learned his racing here. So yeah, they do go on and get better. Yeah, I'm very, very proud. Very, very proud. Sometimes I'm very, very proud of the drivers that have come out of here. But I think the proudest thing these days, you'll be walking through the streets and some of the little children, boys and girls. We race girls as well, by the way, on the go-karts. So they'll be walking around the high street, and little 6, 8 years old and 10 years old and run up to you, oh Jim, when we're going go-karting again, and that's even more of a thrill than seeing on television. But yeah, I'm very, very proud of what comes out of it. We have, girls competing in all of them. On the motorbikes, we've got 2 very quick sisters on bikes at the moment driving. 2 of them are driving pit bikes and one's driving a mini moto. And driving the young one is now the youngest. She's 8 years old and with 2 sisters, and they're definitely going to go places. And in their hot rods and nudging spin cars, we do get girls out there quite a lot.
Well, we used to play in the events based on other tracks who were local to us, who would have an effect, and this would take many months, usually at the beginning of the year, and we found that issuing the dates later and later in the year, waiting for other tracks to release theirs, was causing a few problems for ourselves, because we do run throughout the year. So it was decided to stick with our established meetings, issue those out first, and be the first to issue their dates throughout the year in the racing calendar. So we now book those dates prior to a year starting, so about November, December time we actually issue the dates for the new year coming ahead, and that way we can actually set a precedent for the other tracks to tie themselves into ourselves, so we're not clashing. You're always going to have meetings clash with ourselves throughout the country. There's just not enough weekends. But if you can reduce the amount of clashing, then all the better. So hopefully the local tracks to ourselves will bear that in mind when they're booking theirs, as much as we try to establish air dates to bear in mind their established meetings as well. How far do we start planning ahead of ourselves? It's an ongoing process based on basically the year we're in now. If we run a meeting which is successful, then we try to stick with that date or around about that sort of time of year, because then drivers and spectators will get in we'll call it a habit, so they can plan their racing year, as it was. Just a lot of spectators travel around different tracks, so if they know we have certain meetings at certain times of the year, they can plan around that. So hopefully that will help the whole racing community as well, and establish ourselves. So we're looking possibly about a year in advance, and it all depends on weather as well, bank holidays and other tracks as well. How many people involved in the planning? Well, there are numerous people in the background. Obviously the owner, Jim Hazelgrove, and the staff behind him and his daughters, myself, my partner. I would say there's probably about 6 or 7 based in the planning. As I said earlier, we try to run almost the same as the previous year, with dates and particular fixtures. And people get used to those things, like World Finals in May works, and everyone knows that. We have a Mondeo meet in September, so we try to keep those about the same each year, so people just get used to what's coming up and what's going ahead. I mean, how did I get involved? My involvement with stock car racing was from a very young age. My father raced back in the first meeting at Arlington back in 1971, I believe it was. I was only a scrap of a boy then, 5-6 years old, and he was quite a serious banger driver in those days. He was doing 2 or 3 meetings a week, places like Wimbledon, Arlington, Buntington, even tracks long gone, Hayling Island and places like that. even won at Billingshurst once. Racing's always been in the family. My brothers both race as well. They're quite well known in the circuit as it was. Myself, I took a back seat, raced a little bit, but not a lot. And then I established a website. More my strengths were behind the camera as it was, so I started up a photograph website called bangerphotos.com, and that was a good guide to follow my brothers first of all around the tracks they raced at, and that developed over a period of about 5 to 6 years to one of the biggest online photographic websites going. Travelled everywhere I could, even as far as Belgium, done Scotland a couple of times, Stanley, all the big tracks, and even quite a few of the small tracks as well. We tried to make sure everywhere was covered. That developed to a point where I was quite into the racing, but again, as I said earlier, with lots of races that clash, you know, it's hard to juggle out the rounds. So I ended up with about 7 or 8 different photographers at one stage, all inputting into the website, and then one day decided, well, let's concentrate on one track, as it was. Chose Angmering, being my local track. Loved the guys down here, very friendly track, and I was made to feel welcome as well, and they've given me almost a clean board to start riding on, a clean canvas as we say, so I can help them out. Quite good on the graphic side, so I started off little things like posters and adverts for them. Did sponsor a couple of meetings on local tracks, Angmering and Horndine being the 2 main ones, and there used to be a track called Fleet up at Aldershot, which is now Speedworth's head track. So all in all, I've been involved with the racing for numerous years. Started promoting about 5 years ago. Now to the point where I've helped with the staff here fix the fixtures for the year, with the programmes, the advertising, the posters, and even DVDs as well. So we produce those for Angmering Raceway.